Hey guys, today we're doing a showcase video of this build I did for a Maschinen Krieger competition in Lincoln Wright's Paint on Plastic community. Doing the usual show and tell would be pretty unwieldy given the size of this thing, so I'll just show you some pictures and talk about what I did here. Let's check it out.
Robo Shop.
So, first off, the astronaut. This is the Strahl Astronautin model from Honmitz, and oh boy, does it have problems. The molding quality is not great, and you really need to add a ton of stuff to get it to look good. So I added these vinyl wires and a bunch of coil springs to the helmet, plus some wave rivets for added detail. This is pretty fiddly. I mean, you can see how small this all is, but it was totally worth it. I also needed to do some gap filling with, let's say, questionable success. Once it was all painted up though, I was really happy. The orange collar was applied as a zenithal highlight, and then I just hand painted everything else with Citadel colors basically, and I actually had myself a presentable character model. The kit, of course, is the Luna Gans from Wave. This is one of their older models, so it's not snap fit, and it comes with a lot of metal parts. Here it is in completely unpainted form, and honestly, I have to say, I mean, it's just gorgeous. There's definitely some issues with seam lines here, especially the one on the head, but overall, the design and the detail, it's just so pretty. Here it is with the base collars applied. I had already done the dry brushing on the gunmetal parts, and the feet are actually nearly finished, but the armor is still all pristine. You can also see I applied a putty texture to the fuel tanks, to the bottom part of the armor, and to the feet. The idea was that it would look more and more roughed up the further down you went, which is also why I painted the feet rust first and then really roughly just brushed on the Tamiya light gray that I used for the armor. Here it is halfway in. You can see I did a lot of sponge chipping, and I think at this point I had applied dry brush streaking and possibly some washes with oil paints. This is probably the best picture to show the various weathering techniques I used. The gunmetal parts were first dry brush chrome silver, and then I actually applied a very rough wash with thinned down Abteilung 502 dark rust, which resulted in this really nice rust discoloration. The rest was really basically just sponge chipping with a couple of different collars, then dry brushed oil paints for streaks, then more streaking on top of that with thinned down oil paints in some places. The remaining wall bits of the space station are cut from a bottle of airbrush cleaner, if I remember correctly, and then I just glued some greebles on them and scattered a bunch of other stuff from the parts bin across the ground. All those pieces are brush painted because that way I could airbrush the craters and the sand texture first and then just paint the metal stuff afterward. To be honest, my favorite thing about the metal junk is probably this orange stripe I added to the hull debris because it ties the color scheme together, and it's sort of a subtle hint that the two characters are on the same team as whoever died here. I know it's a small touch and I probably shouldn't obsess over it, but it's usually these kinds of things that I like best about my builds. Well, and that's it really. This was a pretty ambitious diorama project for my standards, and I'm still happy with how it turned out, though with hindsight, I really should have added way more debris for them to walk through. It all looks a bit barren, but see, the dirty little secret of this build is that I really cared more about the craters than anything else, because what I was actually doing here was recreating one of those old space Lego base plates with the moon craters. I'm not kidding, that was the inspiration for this, but next time I'll throw some more junk on it. So I'm going to leave you guys with a picture gallery here, and I'll just say thanks for watching, subscribe to my channel for more stuff like this, and I'll see you in the next one.